I am Ben Doc Askins, the Psychedelic Science War storyteller, and this is the Antihero's Journey podcast. What's up, Antihero's Journeyers out there? You got Doc Askins bringing another Q5 podcast your way, asking 5 questions to the coolest people on the planet. I got a special treat for you today. It's my brother from another mother, Mike Stone, MD. I don't even know where to start in his biography. Have you heard of sound? Well, have you also heard of ultrasound? Because this guy is an ultrasound god. He's a recovering academician from a little parochial school in Massachusetts you may have heard of. I think it's called Harvard. But the bio that he sent me just says, "Sup, bro?" So I'm going to let him do his thing and explain his story for you. So, hey, Mike. What's up, bro?
What's up, Ben? How you doing?
I'm just living the dream.
Yeah, you are. Can I tell you just how much of a relief it is to be the guest on a podcast?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like a
care.
guest everywhere I go, so I don't know what you mean.
This whole thing could just catch fire, go right off the rails, and down into a crevasse. And I'm not responsible.
It's my podcast, and it's your episode. I'm going to put that out there at the outset.
Oh man,
my name's not on this.
What's my story?
What's your story?
So I'm going to tell you that you and I have, I think, an amazing relationship that I really cherish, and part of it is that I don't feel the slightest impulse to sugarcoat or otherwise alter my actual response to things when you talk to me. So dangerous to have me on the podcast, but I'll tell you that my response when you sent me the 5 questions to look at, I looked at the first one and I closed it.
Fuck it. We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
None of these are going to be any good if I rehearse the answers to these. So what's my story?
Tell me a story.
I think I can tell you what my story was. And my story was that I thought it was important to be successful in this world. I thought it was important to use the skills that people told me that I had when I was young. Like, hey, you're pretty smart, and you're good at school, and you're a pretty good listener. Maybe you should be a doctor. It wasn't that simple, but I think there was this. My story was definitely one of external validation and achievement, and this near ubiquitous Western society phenomenon of "I'll be happy when." Right, once that
the
next
little
thing happens,
Lebowski urban achievers sort of upbringing,
yeah, exactly. So it's I worked hard in high school. We're not. There's no way that you're a PG rated podcast, Ben. I'm just gonna ask up front as a host myself. So yeah, I fucked around a ton in college.
Fucking send it.
I rode the intellectual gifts that I was given through college and managed to get myself into medical school a year after I finished college. I fucked around too much to be able to go straight in, and that was great for me to get some real life experience outside of just being a student for 12 consecutive years or 20 something or whenever you count the start of school. Right. And then, I just went straight into being the best fucking doctor I could be. And along the way, managed to make amazing friendships and to, meet my wife and have 2 amazing kids. And yet it still seemed like I needed to do that next thing or that next thing or that next thing. And that all kind of fell apart about 3 years ago or so. And now it seems like a story about some other person, which is, I think, why I closed that message you sent me with the questions, once I saw what's your story, I was like, I don't really have a story, but I know what story I had for a long time. And it was, I think, a pretty common one of like, I'm probably not worthy. I'm probably a terrible human being. If I just do all of these things, I bet I'll feel a little bit better, but guess what? You don't. And then, repeat until death or until something else happens that makes you let go of that story.
Did something make you let go of that story, Mike?
Yeah, there were definitely several things that conspired to make me let go of that story. Some of them psychoactive in nature, and some of them really more sacred, ancient in nature. So I think for me, like meditation in the context of like psychoactives lit the toy rocket, and when it parachuted back down to earth, I figured out that enough meditation, you can kind of balloon it back up there again. It's I don't know whose metaphor this is, right? Like psychedelic substances like shoot you to the top of the summit, and you're like, oh shit, there's a summit, it's real. And then you fall all the way back down, and then you're like, yeah, there is that whole path that like leads you up. You don't have to take a rocket ship, you could just like walk up there, but it's going to take you a little longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely some things that played a role in getting me up there.
Sometimes you go fast to go fast, and sometimes you go slow to go fast, huh?
I felt a calling for psychedelics in my like late teens, 20s, not in a like go to the club or go to this concert and have it be like a little bit more entertaining, but in a like deep sense that there was a reality present there that was equally, if not more real than my regular reality. And I don't think I had the tools, the knowledge, the context, the mindset, certainly not the setting, to really have that be open and available to me at that age. So it was a really interesting sort of full circle to kind of come back to it 20, 30 years later, however old I am. I don't know. A long time.
Yeah. Going back and listening to 90s and early double aughts type music and just kind of reliving the glory days. Is that how you're abiding currently?
There is no such thing as bad 90s music. I'm just going to say that.
Fully supported.
My kids will not agree, but it's okay. They're not old enough to drive, so they
any
can't
other generation
the music
on the planet.
Yeah, we're a special scarred generation for sure.
Yeah. So on some cosmic level, I'm sure we deserved it. But how do you feel like you carry your story now? It seems like it's a different thing for you. You talked in like past tense. I was this guy. I've had some things shake a bunch of that loose. But you're still here talking to me. What's that all about?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's the unshakable truth that this body is in existence, and that there are like memories that are thoughts that are tied to this body's experience or this mind's experience. I can catch myself living a story, but it feels like it's a continuous sort of recognition. And when I say continuous, I don't mean that well, let's just fucking cut to the chase. I'm not fucking enlightened. I don't even know what that means. I don't consider myself to be like a spiritually advanced human. I'm not like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, Ben. So like, if you're able to just tell me at some point, maybe this is like the podcast guest swag. At the end of it, I get like the answer to the universe. I know it's zero. Fuck you.
It's
but like,
that's the deal, is right after I stop recording, I tell everyone the secret of the universe.
But it's a continual like re-remembering and recognition of like, oh, that's a funny thing that's like floating through your mind that you think is true. So like I think what's where things have kind of migrated to now is a very frequent recognition that whatever is occupying my experience on the superficial story level is a belief or a thought, and that there's no actual reason for me to believe that it's true or for me to accept it as true. So it's yeah, I mean I think of the me, there's air quotes going on here, who like believed that getting the promotion or getting a job doing X, Y, or Z, or having a salary increase, or publishing a paper in the medical literature, the me that thought that there was some sort of actual value attached to that is gone. I don't know where that is. The me that still like feels like it's in witness consciousness, or the me that's still like or that can't locate itself, that me is here too. And then so is the me that gets frustrated when like my kid's doing something that I asked them not to do, right? So like I don't know that there's a story with it as much as it's still a it's just a shifting experience that changes from moment to moment and day to day.
You mentioned memory a few times along the way there, and that's what the first question's all about. The second question kind of shifts gears more towards imagination and less towards the past and more towards the future. So from here, what are your intentions?
Yeah, so I think that I'm going to tie memory and past and future memory and intentions and say that that loop is a really dangerous fucking loop, right? As much as it's just as damaging to dwell on things that happened, and I say it like that because they never happened the way that you think that they happened, and certainly in your experience or in others' experiences, I think it's just as dangerous to be future gazing. So my intentions, I want to make the next decision that comes my way in a way that feels full of integrity and honesty and curiosity. And I'd like to be a good father to my kids. I don't even know exactly what that means. I think that it's probably making the next decision with integrity and honesty and love. So I don't know, live from a place of open compassion. It's probably my intention. I want to make it clear. It's not like I don't want to do that in the future, right? Like I want to do that now. That's my intention is to do that now. I don't always succeed at that intention, but that's my intention.
It's that power of now sort of perspective. Is that what we're talking about, or you think
Well,
that's
yeah, no, I mean, I like Eckhart Tolle. I think, and I love that book. I loved A New Earth. I think, all of this is ultimately words and concepts that point at other words and concepts, and hopefully point at something that isn't a word and isn't a concept. But the past is, this is something I think that most people walking around on this planet, and certainly me like 5 years ago, would not entertain the possibility that the past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist, and that your thought doesn't exist, because by the time you think the thought, it's already happened and it's not actually what's happening right now. Like the complete dissolution of time is a tough nut to crack, certainly if it can be cracked at all, and is really tough for people to even entertain getting their heads around, right? It's like, oh, it's 12:25 p.m. Like, is it? Right? I mean, that's what my computer says, so that we can make sense of like organizing schedules and planning events, and it's very practical. But like at the end of the day, the only thing that's continually happening is the same thing that's continually happening all the fucking time, and it doesn't matter if it's the past or like that's not happening in the past. The past is experienced now in a memory. The future is experienced now as a daydream or an anxiety or a worry, and like all that stuff is just not actually real. So I don't know. Like, do I still show up to my appointments on time?
Yeah.
Not as obsessively as I used to, but yeah, mostly I like, honor the conventions of my roles and responsibilities in the world to like be employed and like have my, show love to my wife and kids by like showing up for them when I'm supposed to. But I don't know if it's the power of now as much as the reality of now.
Yeah, all the lines are arbitrary lines and all the numbers are imaginary numbers. But you told me something one time that helped me out with the reality, non-reality thing. It's not that stuff isn't real, it's that it's not what it appears to be, was what you said. And that helped me
that's
crack some
definitely
things
not
loose in my own experience.
Oh, dude, and definitely not mine. I don't know where I heard that, but I'm not nearly as erudite as being able to come up with that. But I think that's I think there's a lot of misconceptions in like the reality quest, right? The zero quest, like, okay, do I need to kill my ego? Is this whole thing a simulation? There's lots of like, and I think a lot of that is in some ways well intended, probably mostly well intended. But I think you can get trapped in these little rabbit holes, like, maybe transcend your ego, like, maybe not just be all ego all the fucking time. But you better not fucking kill your ego if you want to, I don't know, go to the grocery store. Like, you're gonna have a really fucking hard time if you just like plow your cart through some people and like grab stuff off the shelves and walk out of the store without paying. Like, I mean, it's practical. It helps us. And in terms of this whole thing being a simulation, sure, maybe it is, but I don't believe that everything around us is simulation is actually a tough one. I don't think it's fake. I think we create it. And we create something that's real to us. So does that mean it's all an illusion? Probably. But it doesn't mean there isn't a reality. It just means the reality is not what we thought it was.
I just like thinking that our ancestors are actually just our descendants that solved time travel and that we are literally a strange loop.
You talk to folks who have had these either like very real feeling experiences or prolonged visions of past lives or prior lives, and I'm on board, buddy. I think I'm am I my great grandfather's descendant or vice versa? We'll let the jury decide.
I think we should just pick the fun stories and maybe stop killing each other over the differences between the stories. That would be like a big step forward in my mind.
+1.
Not that I want to take over your episode here or anything like that.
Please do. I'm not saying anything.
Having asked about your intentions, I usually like to ask about what people are grateful for next. So what are you grateful for, bro?
Oh, Jesus, a softball. Thanks, buddy.
Now that we're done with time travel and whether
what
now
are your
exists.
intentions? Yeah, what's the nature and fabric of reality? What'd you eat for breakfast? I'm grateful for so many things. And I can do like the one step associated removed above answer from the story level of I'm grateful for my for growing up in a country where like general rights are assumed. You can actually like say what you want to say. I'm grateful for having not grown up in an environment of like food insecurity for me. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my wife and kids. I'm grateful for all of my friends. Um, I'm grateful that I get to help people feel better as a profession. All of those things. But beyond that, when I'm really feel like that's like I don't want to demean it, but and it's not intended to, so I'll just say it. But to me, that's like little g grateful, and then there's like capital G grateful for like how the fuck is this even happening right now, right? Like, you throw a bunch of like phospholipids into a pool of water and they'll just like automatically assemble into a phospholipid bilayer and then like a cell and then amoebas and humans and plants and like what the fuck, like
Crested horn sharks and
yeah, every like manifestation of spontaneity and like mystery. Like I don't feel that capital G grateful every moment of the day by far, which is why I lead off with like I'm no fucking, llama, guru, etc. Like I don't have any of the fucking answers, but I do feel like I have a meta gratitude about having been able to feel that grateful. And to me, I think, when you try to remember who it was I was listening to who was talking about, I think it was Michael Singer, who talks about the weather and how, it took 13, 14 billion years for this moment to happen. And this one, and this one, and this one, right? Ad infinitum. Um, and you're not happy that it's raining, right?
right.
Like that bothers you. Like,
Wah,
how the fuck did
wah.
you even get? Yeah, like, how did you even get here,
Oh,
man? Yeah, it's
does
so
your ice
sad.
cream melt too fast? Oh, sorry.
My my iced coffee has turned into regular coffee.
I want
And
to see the
so,
manager.
who's running this place?
Who's in charge of this shit show?
So I think when you really for me, when I really feel like I can touch into that level of gratitude, that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that we're here. I'm grateful that, this is actually happening.
It's beautiful.
It's pretty simple when you're really just grateful that like this is happening. There's not much to really get too concerned about. And the more time, if I was gonna throw one more bonus intention onto my intentions, I'd like to to experience that gratitude with increasing regularity.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. So, out of that gratitude, then, what are you creating?
mm, you know, I don't know that it's possible to for me to create something. I think it's possible for me to live and act in a way that's full of love and integrity. And I think and compassion. And when you're doing that, I think you create the right environment for other people to start feeling more of that in their lives. So, what am I creating? I mean, again, the story level, yeah, I've got, I do this for work and I do that for work. And, this is a really interesting project to me. And that's a really interesting project to me. And it's really important for me to create, young men in my household who are going to grow up and be, loving, compassionate humans who care about people around them and treat others with respect and kindness. Like, sure, I'm doing all of that. But in terms of what I'm really creating, I think I'm when I'm at my best, I'm creating an environment where other people feel like it's all okay.
Deeply, deeply okay.
Yeah, like there was never a problem anyway. So, if you can just make one other person feel like there was never a problem, you're creating the most, amazing thing on the planet.
Yeah, there's got to be like a term for this. There's got to be a way to condense all this down. Is it like compassionate nihilism. Are these guys going to hurt us, Walter? No, Donnie, these men are cowards.
These men are cowards. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, so right now, Ben, I'm gonna be so good to you.
Swear to God.
I swear to God, I'm gonna be so good to you. You kind of did this, right? It's your fucking book, man, right? Like, if you're gonna condense it down, like, yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing, but like, nothing is everything, and nothing is love, right? And once you just can really kind of tear away this, like, I'm me and you're you, and they're them. Once you can just create a crack in that, the rest is going to take care of itself. And maybe it'll take care of itself, when this body dies, and maybe it'll take care of itself before then. But that also doesn't matter, because it's also still, like, completely okay.
We can definitely take care of each other until we figure out any of those answers in the meantime, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if we never tore apart any of that, and we maintained a strict subject-object relationship with our experience, we could be a whole lot fucking nicer to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems easy. It's easy to say, right?
It's easy to say, and it's real hard. You look at, like, the actual struggles that so many people on this planet face on a day-to-day basis, and you look at, like, what the fuck's happening in Sudan, and you look at, pick one of 20 to 50 places on the planet right now that you could do a deep dive into exactly how fucked it is to be living in that situation. And yeah, we can, sit in our offices and talk about how everybody should just be nicer to each other. But that sort of breaks down when there's not enough food, and there's war and rape and famine, and, right? I mean, it's I think at some point somebody just, you just need to start, and it's not going to fix itself on a societal level overnight, right? I mean, again, it's sort of like when people are, I compost and I recycle, and somebody else is like, well, that's great, but I throw all my shit in a landfill. So, like, good on you. You're not doing anything for the planet, because I'm going to offset your good deeds with all of my shit deeds. I don't think that's true. I think all you can do is what you're doing. And yeah, I mean, I never said it was easy. I just said I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's one of Murphy's laws of combat that the important things are always simple and the simple things are always hard.
I love that. Yeah, it's basically just because it's going to work doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Sometimes
what kind of stuff is easy?
Maximum effort.
Maximum effort. I was waiting for the Deadpool. I mean, we already made it through like 2 Lebowski references. Got some Schwarzy thrown in there, and I was just waiting for Deadpool to come. Just waiting for the masked hero to emerge.
He's always
the masked
around.
Anti-hero.
Yep. You just got to pick the mask you want to wear, right? Pick a fun one for a change instead of being an asshole all the time.
Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to do. Just stop being an asshole.
Find
and have a little fun.
a kinder mask.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One that makes the kids laugh instead of cry for a change or something.
Yeah. A non-scary clown.
Yeah. Yeah, if there is such a thing.
I mean, I was going to say
one, but
let me know if you run across one.
Yeah. So that's the first 4 questions, and then the 5th one's super easy. It's just, who are you really?
Oh my God, wow.
People find answers, but usually it's after the ketamine session. Like, these are all ketamine-assisted therapy questions, and, like, I'm not helping you out here, but we can wing it. On the front end, like,
Yeah, I feel like I need to, like, go take care of some business and come back and answer that question. I don't fucking know. I know, in a very like netty kind of way, I know lots of things that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that yeah, I'm not going to try and come up with an answer beyond I don't know. I know that I'm present here, but I don't know who I really am. I don't know if I'm really spirit. I don't know if I'm really awareness. I don't know if I'm really limited to this mind and body. I don't know if I've been here forever or I just got here. I don't know.
With all your
And
memories intact. Yeah.
yeah, like just like I just got this whole life uploaded like Neo, right? I'm like, "Zzz, I know kung fu."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know ultrasound.
Exactly. But I actually like really love not knowing. And if I end up knowing at some point, then I'm gonna know it in a way that's gonna be irrefutable and just clear truth. There are definitely moments when I've known what I was, but right now in this moment, I don't know.
I accept that about you. That's what I appreciate about yous.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you accepting my non-existence.
Your apparent non-existence.
Yeah,
Right?
apparent
Yeah.
non-existence. It's true. Who knows?
So, I mean, that's the 5 questions. You got any final thoughts? Anything else you want to throw out there to all the anti-heroes that are hanging in on your every word? Dr. Stone.
Oh yeah, that's right. I read the book again, fuckers. Like it's just it's you know it's a no work that you do will be more valuable than this kind of work is all I would say. And whether it's through the anti-hero's journey or it's through psychedelic medicine or it's through sweat lodging or fasting or meditation or breath work or go on and on and on, whatever kind of floats your boat and sings to you. I think just keep going, but do it without planning on getting anywhere, because it's a whole lot more fun that way, and probably a whole lot more fruitful. But what the fuck do I know? I don't even know who I am, so I'm not sure why you'd listen to anything that I have to say.
Yeah, well, that's just like
My
your opinion, man. Well, I don't know much, but I do know I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. Thanks for having me on.